At the spring equinox, the Earth experiences a moment of perfect balance, a powerful turning point when nature begins to awaken. Today, we're exploring how you can connect with this magical moment and awaken your own spiritual practice, no experience required. Whether you're completely new to seasonal celebrations or you've been curious about incorporating more natural magic into your life, this episode is for you. Hey friend, welcome back to the Media Matters, the Coven for the Curious. I'm your host Chantel, and today we'll explore what the equinox actually is, how it's been celebrated throughout history, and most importantly, how you can honor this magical time in simple, meaningful ways. So find a comfortable spot, brew yourself some tea, and let's dive into the perfectly balanced magic of the spring equinox. Before we get into the magical aspects, let's actually understand what's happening during the spring equinox from a scientific perspective. So, twice a year, in spring and in autumn, something special happens. The Earth reaches a point in its orbit around the sun where day and night are almost exactly equal in length. This perfect balance happens because the Earth's axis is tilted neither toward nor away from the sun, but perfectly perpendicular to the sun's rays at the equator. In the northern hemisphere, the spring equinox typically falls around March 20th or March 21st. And in case you're wondering, it will be on Thursday, March 20th, 2025. For those in the southern hemisphere, this would be your autumn equinox, but a lot of the practices we're going to talk about today can be adapted to honor whichever seasonal transition you're experiencing. What makes this time so magical isn't just this astronomical alignment, but what it actually represents. Think about it. A perfect balance of light and darkness. It's a rare moment of equilibrium in our world, a pause between what was and what will be. The word equinox comes from Latin meaning equal night. And in this equality, there's power. Throughout human history, people have recognized that these transitional moments, when the world hangs in perfect balance, they're ideal times for magic, intention setting, and spiritual connection. The spring equinox specifically represents awakening. After the quiet introspection of winter, life begins to stir. Seeds that have been dormant underground begin to sprout. Animals emerge from hibernation. The earth itself seems to take a deep breath of sorts and come alive. This awakening energy creates a unique doorway, a threshold between seasons where transformation becomes truly possible. It's like the veil between worlds thins slightly, making it just a little easier to connect with both nature's energy and our own inner wisdom. When we talk about Earth's perfect balance, we're really referring to this exact moment when light and dark stand as equals, when winter and summer meet in the middle, when past and future balance on the edge of now. It is a cosmic pause button that gives us space to reflect, reset, and realign with our own intuitive compass. The beautiful thing is that you don't need any special tools or years of practice to tap into this beautiful energy. The equinox belongs to everyone, just as the sun and the moon do. Its magic is accessible to anyone who chooses to notice it. So, this perfect balance point has been recognized and celebrated by cultures around the world for thousands of years. For example, a lot of pagan traditions celebrate Ostera at the spring equinox, which is named after the Germanic goddess Istra. I hope I pronounced that right. Which is where we get the word Easter. Ostera celebrations honor fertility, renewal, and the return of light. Eggs and rabbits, which are symbols you might recognize from modern Eastern, were originally connected to these ancient fertility celebrations. In Persian culture, for example, the spring equinox marks Nowruz, which is the Persian New Year, a celebration that dates back over 3,000 years. Families gather around a half-seen table decorated with 7 symbolic items that start with the letter S in Persian, each representing renewal and hopes for the new year. In Hindu traditions, the festival of Holi often coincides with the spring equinox. This vibrant celebration involves throwing colored powders and water, symbolizing triumph of good over evil and the arrival of spring. What's fascinating is how similar these themes emerge across these diverse traditions. No matter where you look, you're likely going to find cleansing rituals to clear away the old, symbols of fertility and new life like eggs and flowers, fire or light ceremonies acknowledging the increasing daylight, and community gatherings to share in the collective energy of renewal. Our ancestors, they understood something important, that this balanced moment creates ideal conditions for awakening. They use this time to shake off winter's hibernation, plant seeds for the future, both literally and metaphorically, and align themselves with nature's rhythm of renewal. These weren't just superstitions, they were practical ways to mark time, connect with community, and acknowledge the changing world around them. They were reminders that we are part of nature, not separate from it. Today, we can really draw wisdom from these ancient practices while also working to adapt them for our modern lives and personal belief systems. So, how do we mesh traditional practices with our modern world? So glad you asked. Let me share 10 fun, easy, and creative ways to celebrate the spring equinox that fit perfectly into our modern lives, regardless of where you live or how busy you might be. The first idea is to create a sprout jar. For this, grow sprouts in a mason jar on your kitchen counter. As they transform from seed to sprout over just a few days, they become a living symbol of spring's awakening energy. Next, take just 5 minutes at sunrise or sunset on the equinox to stand outside and feel the balanced moment between light and dark. Take 3 deep breaths and set an intention for this new season. My next idea is to build a small stack of balanced stones, either outdoors or on your windowsill. Each stone can represent something you're bringing into balance in your life. That simple. Next up, you can turn ordinary spring cleaning into a magical practice by opening windows while sweeping, declaring what you are releasing with each sweep. And you can also add a few drops of lemon or mint essential oil to your cleansing water to make the situation even more magical. Another idea is to create a simple tea with a blend of herbs representing balance and renewal. You could try mint for freshness, chamomile for peace, and a touch of cinnamon for some warmth. Another idea is to decorate eggs with symbols of what you wish to manifest this spring. You can use natural dyes like onion skins, turmeric, or even beetroot for a more earth-connected practice. Next up, you could create a temporary mandala with found natural objects like flowers, leaves, and even stones. Its ephemeral nature honors the temporary balance of this equinox. Another idea is to create a playlist of music that represents balance to you, or sounds that really evoke spring, like birdsong, gentle rain, or flowing water. And then take a restorative sound bath. Another idea is that you can write a question or a challenge you're facing on biodegradable paper, plant it with a seed, and let the answer grow as the plant grows. Another idea is to take photos of things that represent perfect balance to you throughout the day of the spring equinox. This really creates a visual meditation on this theme. The really beautiful thing about modern seasonal practice is flexibility. There really are no rigid rules, just an invitation to pause and notice this beautiful changing world. These simple celebrations can be done alone or even shared with friends and family, adapted for any living situation or even belief system. Whether you practice in community or solitude, the key really is to be present, really showing up for this moment of balance and allowing yourself to feel connected to something larger than yourself. I've noticed that a lot of people, even those who don't consider themselves particularly spiritual, really feel a natural uplift in energy around the equinox. There's really just something about witnessing the world's reawakening that sparks our own internal renewal. Modern practitioners really just bring conscious awareness to this natural process, finding joy in these simple, meaningful gestures that connect us to Earth's perfect balance. The equinox really offers us a chance to check in with ourselves. Are we in balance? What needs awaken in our lives? Where do we want to direct our growing energy? These questions really are just universal, transcending any specific spiritual tradition. It's just part of us. So legend has it that subscribing to the podcast is like planting a seed in your magical practice. You know, it grows with each episode, that kind of growth. It's like compound interest for your spiritual development. Let's just put this to the test. Just click that subscribe button with your magical little hands and voila, seeds are a-sprouting. Also, thank you for subscribing. Now then, a few years ago, I was going through a particularly difficult winter, both, literally and metaphorically. I really was feeling stuck in a few areas of my life. I felt uninspired and really just disconnected. As the equinox approached, I decided to treat it as more than just another day. I felt drawn to create some kind of ritual, though at the time I wasn't exactly sure what that meant. I just knew that I needed a symbolic fresh start. So I decided to spend the morning of the equinox at the beach because it was still a little chilly. The beach was super quiet, so I really got to have everything to myself, including the beautiful, stunning sunrise. So I brought my journal, I brought my pendulum, and I thought, I'll just let things go where they will. And as the sun rose, I wrote down everything I wanted to release. Old thought patterns, old relationships that no longer served me, and fears that just kept holding me back. Then on a new page, I wrote what I wanted to bring into my life: creativity, connection, courage, whatever. So I consulted with my pendulum along the way and just sat in meditation for a while, just soaking in the beautiful sunrise and feeling grateful to witness something so freaking stunning. As I sat there soaking in the sunshine, I envisioned releasing everything that no longer served me one by one, and I asked the sunlight to fill those empty spaces with love, healing, and new energy. So it wasn't an elaborate ceremony. No one would have really even noticed what I was doing, but something shifted for me on that morning. It wasn't immediate or dramatic, but I will tell you, in the days and weeks that followed, I felt a gentle awakening within myself. Ideas began to flow again. I found myself taking small action toward changes I'd been contemplating for months and maybe even years. What really stays with me from that experience is how connecting with the Earth's rhythm gave me permission to acknowledge my own cycles. Just as nature doesn't bloom year-round, we too have seasons of dormancy and growth. The equinox really just taught me that balance isn't about being perfectly centered all the time. It's honoring the natural cycles between the different states that we experience. Each year since that time, my equinox practice has evolved, but it always really just includes that core recognition of balance and awakening. It has become a touchstone in my year, a time of realignment to remember my connection to the natural world. Now let's do the same for you with a ritual you can use to connect with this equinox energy. Remember, the beauty of personal practice is that you can adapt these suggestions to fit your own beliefs, living situation, and comfort level. Today we're going to talk about the balance candle ritual. So for this ritual, you're going to need 2 candles, ideally one that's light and one that is dark in color, but any 2 will work. You're also going to need a fireproof plate or holder, matches or a lighter, and optional spring flowers, stones, or other natural items for decoration. So the candles really represent the equal balance of day and night at the equinox. The ritual itself, simple. So first, you're going to find a quiet spot where you're not going to be disturbed. Next, arrange your candles on your fireproof plate or holder side by side, light and dark. Take a few deep breaths to center yourself. As you light the first candle, say, I honor the darkness, the rest, the reflection of winter. As you light the second candle, say, I honor the light, the growth, and the activity of spring. Watch both flames for a few moments and say, at this point of perfect balance, I stand in the threshold. I choose what to release and what to welcome. Then take a few moments to meditate on the equal flames, representing the balance moment of the equinox. When you're ready, extinguish the candles safely. The really cool thing about this ritual is that it acknowledges both aspects of the equinox, the equal dark and the equal light, while positioning you in that powerful threshold space where transformation can really take shape and happen. If you prefer a more active practice, planting seeds with intention is a perfect equinox activity. So whether you have a garden, a balcony with pots, or just a small windowsill, the act of planting a seed while focusing on what you want to grow in your life creates such a powerful magical connection. What really makes these practices effective is your presence and your intention. You do not need any elaborate tools or memorized incantations, just your authentic connection to that moment. Here is a super simple and completely free practice just for you, and that is affirmations. Affirmations can be such powerful tools to align our thoughts with the natural energy of the season. With that in mind, I have 7 spring equinox affirmations that you can use throughout this entire season. They are as follows. As the earth awakens, so does my spirit. I stand in perfect balance, honoring both light and shadow within me. I plant seeds of intention that will grow with the increasing light. I am in flow with nature's rhythm of renewal and growth. With each breath, I welcome fresh energy into my life. I release what no longer serves me, making space for new beginnings. I am open to the magic of transformation and new possibilities. With these affirmations, you can try writing them down and placing them somewhere where you will see them every day. You might repeat them during your morning meditation, while you're going for a walk in nature, or whenever you need to reconnect with the equinox energy. You can say one, you can say a couple, or you can say them all, dealer's choice. I really like to say each one 3 times out loud to really put some authority into it because I feel like this helps me the most. Like things really stick for me when I say my affirmations 3 times and do it out loud. Magic, I tell ya. The power of these affirmations comes from repetition and belief. As you say them, try to really feel the truth of those words. Visualize yourself embodying these qualities of balance, awakening, and renewal. So what else can we do to make this awakening even more exciting? Oh, I know. How about a super simple visualization exercise that will connect you with the awakening energy of spring? The great thing is that you can do this anywhere, in a park, your living room, while you're soaking in your tub, seriously anywhere. To do this, find a comfortable position and close your eyes if that feels right for you. Next, take some deep breaths in and release. Imagine roots extending from your body down into the earth beneath you. These roots reach deep, connecting you to the soil where seeds are beginning to stir. With each breath, feel yourself drawing up energy from the earth, the same energy that causes seeds to sprout and flowers to bloom. Visualize this energy as a warm golden light moving up through your roots into your feet and slowly filling your entire body. As this warm energy fills you, imagine any stagnant winter energy dissolving and releasing back into the earth to be composted and transformed. Now, bring your attention to your heart center. Imagine a small seed of intention resting there, right at the heart chakra. This seed holds your hopes for the coming season of growth. What does this seed look like? What color is this seed? What does it feel like? As you continue breathing, visualize the seed beginning to sprout. Tiny green shoots extending outward from your heart center. With each breath, these shoots grow stronger, reaching upward toward the increasing spring light. What is beginning to bloom within you? What new aspects of yourself are awakening? Take a moment to feel gratitude for this process of growth, knowing that just as the earth awakens in its perfect timing, so do your intentions and dreams. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers and toes, take a deep breath, and gently open your eyes, carrying this awakened energy with you. You can repeat this throughout the spring season, especially when you feel disconnected or you need to realign with your intentions. Now then, let's address some common questions about connecting with equinox energy. First up, How will I know if I am awakening spiritually? Well, spiritual awakening often feels like increased awareness, synchronicities, or just feeling more alive and present. Really, there's no single way it should feel. Just trust your experience and know that awakening is usually a gradual process, not a sudden event. This is another great reason to keep a journal. Write down your experiences, even the super subtle ones that might seem more than just a little questionable. I bet when you go back and look through your entries, you're going to find patterns of things that you missed in the normal day-to-day. Our next question is, can I practice spring equinox rituals if I live in an apartment? The answer is absolutely yes. One of the great things about magic is that you can do it anywhere. If you're talking plants, then consider using a small pot of herbs on a windowsill. Bring in some fresh flowers or even images of spring that can help connect you to the seasonal energy. Really, the most important element is your intention and your awareness. Next, what if I'm in the southern hemisphere? So, if you're experiencing autumn while the north hemisphere experiences spring, you can either adapt these practices to your autumn equinox or save this episode for the spring. The principles of balance really apply to both equinoxes, though the energy differs ever so slightly. If you want something specific for the southern hemisphere, just reach out and let me know, and I will put something very special together just for you. All right. How do I explain this practice to skeptical friends and family? The question that transcends time. I would say that you need to try to focus on the things that most people can appreciate, like taking time to reflect on nature's changes, setting intentions for personal growth, or even just celebrating the arrival of spring itself. You don't need to use words like magic or ritual if they are creating any kind of resistance. Sometimes calling it a seasonal mindfulness practice or a celebration of spring feels a lot more accessible and far less woo-woo, in my personal opinion. All right. Can I combine this with my existing spiritual practice? Speaking broadly, I would say, yeah, why not? Honestly, a lot of spiritual traditions honor the equinox, and I think that incorporating seasonal rituals into your spiritual practice really is just an enhancement. Figure out what resonates with you, is what I say. Remember that magical practice doesn't need to be complex or elaborate to be meaningful. Sometimes the most powerful magic comes from simply pausing to notice the beautiful world around you, feeling your connection to nature's rhythms, and setting conscious intentions. The equinox really reminds us that balance isn't static. It is a momentary alignment, a threshold between what was and what will be. In honoring this cosmic pause, we really create space for our own awakening. All of that said, thank you so much for joining me for another magical episode of The Medium Matters. I would love to hear about your equinox experiences. Make sure you leave a comment, send an email, or drop some lines in an IG DM. I'm all about it. Check out the show notes for more deets and click the link to read our companion blog post where we share even more magic on the spring equinox. Want to round out your Medium Matters experience? Then make sure you sign up to be part of our magical insider community. It is free, it is magical, and it is all for you. Until next time, this is Chantel with the Medium Matters reminding you to slow down and take in the beauty and wonders of spring. May this awakening energy bring renewal to your beautiful life. See you next time.